Okay. Hello, everyone. Um, can we all hear me? If you're hearing me, please just say something on the chat so that we know that we are all talking together. If you're hearing me, please just say something on the chat so that we know that we're all together. All right. Thank you. They're all coming in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A very, very warm evening to you. Here in Nigeria, evening, any other part of the world, it could be some other time, but um, just greetings from us to you today. This it's been a long time coming. It's been a very long time now that um, we had put this program to a pause, and um, due to a whole lot of restructuring. But today we are getting in life, and that's why um, we are here today. To despite a few odds that is still coming up, activities that might want to get into the way because those are part of the reasons we had, from the last times and all of that. But we are glad that today we're able to, overcome all of that and still be in the environment where we're able to provide this. So Business Friday is a weekly program where we gather entrepreneurs, we gather business owners, we gather business enthusiasts. Just basically an environment where people just talk about business. So where you hear everything about business, where you hear life for people. So now it is not maybe a pre-recorded video. I mean that you just watch, and this is you are talking live with top business leaders who are providing business leadership at their various spaces, and you're able to hear from them directly, hear their pains, hear their wins, hear what they hear them share how their journey has been so far, so that you as a business owner you are able to understand what the path requires and then how to prepare your mind, prepare your heart to be the best that you need to be in your field. So it's been a great vision that we carry as an organization, and that we have not been able to, we cannot wait to birth, so that we will see the economy and also the environment where we operate greatly thrive. One key issue or setback that is always pushing us is that people generally lack the know-how of business management and business. Basically, most people who are into business lack the know-how, and that's why even the success people have made so far is still minimum compared to the amount of success they would have actually been able to make if the entire know-how is well equipped, and all of that. So basically, we feel that there's a wide knowledge gap within the sphere of the entrepreneurs, right? And all that. So anybody just have an idea? Oh, I just have an idea. No, maybe, or maybe this part of the world where people basically get into the business to increase income, just increase the revenue stream, which is a very good reason. But the only problem is that why that is your reason for starting a business, that is also not the reason for you to be successful in the business. Business has a way it is done, and unless you do it the way it is done, you definitely will not be able to reap all the result that you are looking out for, all of that. So sorry, it's a sunny evening, and I actually wanted to stay where I'm able to get air instead of inside in the house. So I'm hoping that it doesn't get too sunny, so that I'm not also start feeling a bit hot. But I like the ambience and also the air that I'm feeling. It makes it quite easy for us to be able to engage this evening, all of that. So, um, as I was saying, business has a way it is done, right? So unless you, despite what your core objective is, whatever your core objective is, well, despite that core objective, if you do not follow that know-how, you end up not achieving that core objective. There will still be a setback somewhere, which is the case of so many businesses within the SME sphere. And also, we have put up this program for the purpose of addressing that knowledge gap, at least to the extent that we can. So For the subsequent series, it won't just be myself. For the oldies who have been, part of this program, you can tell my face is always there. I'm always around during each time we're having this engagement. But for this new version of Business Friday, it wouldn't just be myself that you'll be seeing. You'll be seeing a lot of business owners, that will show up to talk about their journey in business and how they've navigated the waters, people who have actually made great strides within their industry, and you can be able to learn from them, ask questions, get feedbacks, and be able to, grow. So the overall goal is that by the time you are done, every time we are running this program, when you come, you come, when you come, you learn a lot, and when you're leaving, you leave loaded, and you can actually go into your space and begin to do a whole lot of things that will really, really transform your result. So, welcome on board once again. My name is Chedozie, and this is RC Business Academy. Today, I'm privileged to be the one that is here today. Giving talking to us. Um, like I said, subsequent time it will be other people that will um, be there. So be here to speak to you. I'm not the only person here. Yes, sorry. My name is Chedozie, and I'm the managing chief executive officer of Asti Business Consult. So I will today I'll be speaking to you from my office in the organization, and also my experiences uh, working and running the organization so far. And um, same. So I'm just here basically trying to provide that insight. Then subsequently, we have other the likes of people within the top management and top leaderships who would also provide their own insight to us. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to live here very loaded and very transformed and be able to make giant strides within our industry. All right. So today, what are we talking about? Is just very simple: business and the path towards raising a thriving um, business venture, right? What it is that you need to do to be able to have a very successful business venture. Like I was saying earlier, that the motivations behind every business is always there. Some for the reasons of increasing revenue, some for the reason of taking advantage of an opportunity you are seeing somewhere, either within a market, in an environment. There are always very great reasons why people choose to, get into the world of business. And business, by the way, is simply the act of providing value so that you can also get value in return from it. Very simple. It's just an exchange of values. You provide value, you receive value. That's how it works. So let's say for an auto, for car manufacturing companies, you wonder why people having to go through the stress of making a car, because it's a lot of stress to make a car, to manufacture the parts of a car, assemble them, prepare them, and then distribute them is a lot of work. Believe me, Solomon, that's why they charge a lot. Of course, it's a lot of work. So you ask, why do you want to go through all those rigor? Why do you want to squeeze hours of thorough work to make sure a car comes out? What's the essence of it? It is because there is a gap of car or easy transportation within our environment. So somebody has said, "Oh, um, people want to move from one place to another. So before it used to be horse, used to be other equipment, but how can we create an engine whereby you don't apply the energy of a being? You just the energy works mechanically and is able to provide that movement that we need are looking at. And that's how they started working on engines, working on the fuel for the engine and all of that. So and today we have moved away from that. We've achieved locomotion with mechanized locomotion, and we're now looking at luxury in the locomotion. That is where you are able to play your music. You are inside a very chilled air condition. You have all the nice features you want in your car. You can even talk to your car responds. You have the GPS, your car, everything. So it's a complete different thing now. So people are looking for luxury and comfort, a whole lot of things people look for. So people have seen that market. So from the beginning, there was a need to provide that mechanized locomotion, right? And somebody filled that gap by working so hard, making researches, and is able to build a patent, right? And brought it out and people saw it, invested in it, and then able to develop that into a full product, and then is able to multiply it into commercial quantity where you can stay where you are and then pay a certain money, and then that is given to you. So people doing all of that is for a reason. You have seen a problem, and I've seen that if I can solve this problem, I will also receive value for my own problem. And what's your own problem is that you want to, you are aiming to become the wealthiest man in the whole world. And there's no way to become the wealthiest man in the whole world if you do not have, becoming the wealthiest man in the whole world is measured. It's a measured quantity, right? It's not something that you get into. There is certain thing that you have to have for you to be valued on and say you are now the wealthiest man in the whole world. And in our current world, how it works is that you have to have a certain, you have to be valued in a certain way. Like the value in terms of your assets, your capital has to have a certain value. Currently, the wealthiest man in the world is Elon Musk, which is, and his current worth is over 300 billion US dollars, right? And that venture happened because of the valuation of his stock, the entire asset he has across his entire organization. So he couldn't have been there if he couldn't have had such valuation if he's not doing anything. Elon Musk is able to get here because he provides space solution space prob is provides solution within the space industry. For NASA, he provides aircraft for their movement and a whole lot of things he does there. Then the major thing about Tesla, about Tesla now, that is fine. Um, what you call it, an electric vehicle that he provides currently. He understood that the world was moving away from fossil fuel, and the world is trying to get cleaner and greener. And so, to make that happen, you have to provide a mechanized locomotion that does not use engine combustion. You understand all of that whole grammar. So, he wanted to work. Well, there was already somebody doing that. I don't want to go into history of how, but somebody was doing that. He identified that and partnered with them, bought over some shares, became the chairman. Brought in ideas, and then they had a lot of EVs, electric vehicle, and plus luxury, and they have it, and he's been selling. And from there, the stock of Tesla has been rising, and because he's one of the major shareholders, he's able to rise from there. All of that. So it just keeps growing. Then he's able to take his profit from there, venture into other businesses. Today, how many of us know that Starlink, that we see, all those Starlink we see belongs to one of his companies. It's a product of one of his companies. And apart from that, he's also into so many other things. When you value all the assets he has in all these places, come together, made them brought together, gave that valuation that he has of what being worth over 300 billion US dollars to them. All right. So that's for Elon Musk. So, and for other people too. So my point here is that, so for Elon Musk, right, getting into business for him was that he, maybe, I don't know if he had a desire to be the wealthiest man in the world one day. I don't know if he had that desire. That so if he did have that desire one time in life, now to be able to have reached that level, he couldn't have achieved that if he does not have the right required measurement parameters, because there's a way the world has set a standard for how this is being measured. So he needs to have all of those requirements so that he can be declared that, so that he can receive the fullness of what he wants, right? So he was able to do the work required, and that work was to look at a problem in the society and felt, I can solve this problem, or I can partner with those. And so in solving this problem, I can either solve it by originating it myself from the beginning, or partnering with those who are trying to do that. And I have something that they need. They have the know-how, they have technical know-how for solving this problem, but they don't have the capital. I have the capital. So how do I merge together? That's another thing we're going to talk about, subsequently in the world of business, because this happens a lot. Mergers, acquisitions, partnership, joint ventures. It's all part of how business works, right? So he's able to say, okay, I have the capital, you have the technical know-how. Can we marry together? Let me give you the capital so that I can take ownership of the technical know-how, so that together all of us can own this thing and be happy about this thing. So those are part of the things he did at some point, and he's able to, you know, get to where he is. And how many of us can remember Twitter, now X? Yeah. Yeah. It became X because Elon Musk again came into the show and decided to buy it. He bought it for over about 45 billion US dollars at the time. Right. So bought over everything completely, and he became, so that entire market space that Twitter occupied, he bought everything over. And today he's doing his stance. Part of these changes he brought in was X, changing the name from Twitter to X for reasons we have yet to clearly understand. But yes, that's my point is his Twitter was willing to sell because at the time they also had a problem. They had a problem of capital. They had a problem of, I mean, that kind of offer is not um it's not everybody that can give that kind of offer. There are only few persons in the world that can give you that amount of offer. They can buy you out completely. Not only did he buy them out completely, like buying out the entire shares, he also bought up their the business liabilities, assets. These are part of things we're going to talk about too as we progress. So he bought up the entire liabilities. So it was like I've been stressing myself on this business, and somebody says, can you hand it over to me at this certain amount of money? Just go to holiday, go and chill, just go and rest your life and all that. Some people went to with over 5 billion USD from that deal, depending on the amount of shares they had at Twitter. And also some one big man came. So it's not everybody that have 45 billion USD. It's not everybody that have that amount of money to spare. But Elon Musk did have it and he was able to partner with them. So he had a desire to own communication, own one of the major mainframe deal uh deliver your value. You deliver your value, you see a value that you want, and design a value that you can use to get that value. That's what business is all about. You see a value that you want. A value can be capital, a value can be names, a value can be positioning, a value can be you know how Abraham Maslow rules being hierarchy of needs, right? So at some point in life, there's a point you get to. You're looking for recognition. Recognition is a value. You want to be recognized as this, hours that. Is a value you want. How do I get into this value? Is the question will now be, what value am I going to give so that I'm able to get this value back? And that's exactly what business is all about, really. So, all that. So now the question now comes back to you, a business owner. Given all I've said so far, do you see the business you are doing as what I've just explained? That it's actually about you giving out a value in exchange for a value. So, what value did you see drama currently happening there right now? Um, with currently happening there with the big boys in the industry, with Otedola, Otedeco, all the big boys in that space and all of that, and how currently Otedola currently is the chairman of the company of First Bank, right? Because he is able to is the high shareholder now. He was able to buy off a major share with First Bank, and currently he owns. I mean, he is a chairman currently. And I think last week or so there's a news that he wants to consolidate his ownership there by buying more stake right in the company so that he can actually make himself stronger there. All of that. So for him, I don't know. Doesn't know the exact reason why he's doing that. Is it because he wants to increase his empire, or there's a large opportunity you're seeing within the banking space that instead of building a new bank from scratch, it's better I just buy off one, not just buy off one that has been there in the industry. It's been there for a very long time, has survived all the hurdles of banking, all the issues of everything that banking goes, he has gone through that and they still stand. So these guys have the structure, the times to stand. So instead of building from scratch up, let me just take them up and all that. He's able to do that again because he had the means, and the people too who are selling needed what he had. Again, like I said, it's not everybody that have his kind of money. So you can't see his kind of person every time come to you with the money bag and say, I want to give you this bag and this. There are no many Otedolas in the world. It's just one him, and maybe people like him and all of that are quite few within the chain of value and all of that, or chain of the hierarchy of life. Oh. So my point exactly is there are many reasons why people do what they do. So whatever reason you do what you do, just one thing cannot be taken. You still cannot not do that business the way it's supposed to be done. You can't afford not to. If you do it the way it's not supposed to be done, you will burn your entire cash. You are going to burn out. You're going to crash out. So that, for example, Mr. Otedola that bought over a major shareholder at First Bank, that now he controls how things is done there. That does not mean that how they handle their business is not still the way the banking business is supposed to be handled. No, he didn't just come in there and start introducing. He came from um, was it first oil, but one of the He came from the oil industry, and currently he is at the power generation industry, Geregu. All of my first name Geregu. He also owns Geregu, right? But I'm just the way he came from all of these entire sectors, right? Now, the way business is done, those businesses are being done. That's not the way he is currently running First Bank. He's running First Bank the way a banking business of that structure is supposed to be run. There he has very sound chief executive officer, very sound chief general manager. The business structure has been designed thoroughly in line with the business objective and market structure. He has the entire HR system. He has the entire operational framework mapped. Everything that makes that banking business to work has been put in place. In fact, that's actually what he bought over. He bought both the name, the entire structure, the entire value, asset, liabilities, everything. He was able to he bought over all of that to be able to uh, have his way. So that he's bought that over does not mean that he's not doing it the way it's supposed to be done. He's still conducting that business the way it's supposed to be done. Even though he had experience of, maybe he has very scarce experience of banking, yet that bank is being run by people who understand banking very well and all of that. He's just the person at the head, but he still does it the way it's supposed to be done. So what am I saying? Whether your reason for being in business is to earn more revenue, that's no problem. But that particular thing called business must be done the way it's supposed to be done. Else, you'll be frustrated at the end of the day. So, are you an SME, a small medium enterprise? Maybe you own a small fashion shop, right? And then you're looking at, oh, how do I grow this fashion shop? It's very simple. It's like mathematics. You just need to understand how the fashion industry works. If you follow through the structure of that fashion, you are just going to succeed in it. It's as simple as that. It starts by first understanding the market you want to serve. So in the fashion space, what market do you want? Have you done your market segmentation? Who's your target market? You see all these questions I'm asking that these are normal things. You must have answers to this question, right? And where are your target? Where are they? How best can you reach them? What offer do you want to give them? What is their need? What is their core need within this space? Is it, do they need? Are you serving people who want um, class? Who want class? Who want to make a statement from their fashion, or who just want to cover their nakedness. These are two different markets. So you need to understand who you are serving and then determine, right? So if you're serving those who want to make a statement, then do you have the capacity to what statement do they want? And do you have the capacity to provide that statement? See a whole lot of things you need to really figure out. Then come to your financing. How do you intend to make your pricing? What is the cost of your business? And what margin are you looking at? How do you determine your profit, and how do you manage your finances, how do you manage your what do you call it, your procurement, the entire value chain of your business, and all that, a whole lot of things you have to figure out. And if you do not do these things this way, you will be having some issues. So yesterday I was in a conversation with somebody, a business owner who is currently into running a food restaurant, a very mini food restaurant, and the person say, every time, oh, I don't know, when I come back, my money is running short. My money is good. I don't know what is going on. And this time I just wonder, and the person has been worried and genuinely worried. And they ask me, what do you think I should do? I said, okay. Or no, what do you think is the problem? I said, well, I think there are, in my opinion, there could be about three problems here. Number one is that you may be um, selling below the problem is about when you finish selling, at the end of the day, you come back, the amount of money you bring back, when you calculate it, is not commensurate with the amount of money you're supposed to bring in. So that means that either maybe the quantity you are giving out when you are selling is not commensurate with the quantity that you determined at the point of trying to do your pricing. Say, yes, it's very likely that you are selling more. Let's say your a plate of rice, for example, is 500 naira. You know, the quantity that makes that 500 naira is not measured. So you probably gave this person this quantity for 500. You gave somebody another person double of that quantity for the same amount. So as you are doing that, as soon as I said that, like, yes, there was one case, I told my girls, when I finish serving, those will come and say, this food is very small. So when I came around, I said, okay, this is a good customer now, just add extra. I said, that extra added is 500 I just gave out to somebody. You do it for that one person, multiply by, let's say, 10 persons, you do it, if you're releasing about 5,000 already. By the time you are done with your this thing, calculate, you will definitely be 5,000 below your expected full income. So, what do I do now? I say, very simple. Find a way to measure your quantity, your delivery. Just find a way to do that. Just sit back and determine that. How do you do your? They say, if I do this, people are not going to be happy about that. I say, that's good. That's if you are saying something now. Then find a way to sell to people that it has to be done this way, and they will stick, and they need to, and they will get a better satisfaction without them losing their. This whole thing has to. It's a mathematics. It's a chess game. You must play it that way. You don't play it that way, you will burn out. You know, so this same thing runs for every kind of business you're doing. You must work with the know-how. The know-how has to happen that way. If you don't follow through the know-how the way it's supposed to be followed, I'm sorry, you're going to burn out and all. So this is there is a statistics that says that about, I think, about 90% or 70 or 80% of SMEs that start small businesses die off at the end of their second day. I mean, second year in business. It's very simple. And only about, no, about 50% dies off. Particularly about 15% or so, 5% survives till 15 years. And I say it's very simple. Many are called, but those that are chosen, or those that will make it to the end, will definitely be few persons. In a marathon race, a lot of persons will be running with the energy. The person that get to the bottom line will only be just 10% of the entire numbers. It's all because there are rules to this game. Very, very, and you must follow the rules. Right. So every other business people that entered to the businesses, this number entered for a lot of reasons, that was okay for them. However, they did not understand that these things also have rules. And because they didn't follow the rules, you got bumped, and all of that. So